I'll get it together here. Hang on. I've already been up and out of the house. It's very dark and gloomy, like there is a major storm brewing on its way. Yeah, it's a little bright, but I needed it, and I got a little ambiance going in the back. Makes me feel good. I love those little twinkle lights. It just kind of adds something to my office. Can you hear me? Should we use the microphone today? I have comments turned off, I think. A lot of things I want to talk about. No, I'm not drinking in the morning, but I want to tell you about this. A lot of products I want to talk about this morning. Let's get the microphone going. How are you? What's the weather doing where you are? I went and picked up my groceries at Walmart this morning. Ran over there. Where did I go last week? I ran somewhere to go pick up groceries. Is it Aldi's? I don't know. I don't know where I went. But it's just easier now for me to order them online and then go pick them up. It gives me a reason to leave the house. Did I leave the house yesterday? No, I did not. What did I do? I cleaned my yard. I messed around in my pool. I did make my pork, as you saw on my live yesterday. Had that for dinner last night. Today I'm bound and determined. I am not cleaning. I'm not going to do it. And anybody who knows me, when it comes to my home and me being in my house, the OCD kicks in and I have to have a clean house. Have to. In order for me to think functionally, I need to be in a clean environment. But I got things I want to show you this morning. Things that I want to talk about, and then kind of segue into, I did get my class description on the classes that I want to teach for the community college and things that I teach in general. But wherever you are, what are you doing? You have your coffee? Did you have breakfast this morning? I'm starved. I'm absolutely starved. What time is it? It is 11 o'clock. I will eat probably when I get off of here. It has been raining cats and dogs this morning. Literally, it is very dark and gray in my area, so I don't know what storm is coming. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I have comments turned off, so sorry. It's distracting, and some viewers don't know how to behave. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Remember, I don't know, videos back when I talked about being histamine intolerant and certain scents bother me, and it'll trigger an asthma attack, migraine. And I do like scents. I like something earthy, very fresh and citrusy. Those scents I can tolerate. So last week before, I was doing, had a big party at my work. Sorry, I'm stumbling over words because I'm trying to get my thoughts together. And the gal that was hosting it, I'm smelling this lovely, lovely fragrance throughout the air. And I'm like, where is that scent coming from? I know that scent. So anyway, I finally tracked down the gal who has the cologne on, and I said, I'm sorry. I know this is like really weird and odd. I said, but you smell lovely. What are you wearing? I go, my God, you smell like civet musk. Now, if you're a child from the 60s or 70s, you were very familiar with civet musk. And they discontinued it because the scent in itself came from an animal and its gland. And in order to get that gland, they needed to get rid of the animal. So therefore, along the line, whoever's in charge of, animals that are becoming distinct, distinct. So this gal, she says, oh, it is missing person by Fleur. And I'm like, oh my God, it smells just like civet musk. So anyway, I go to look it up. Now, I got a birthday coming up in July. And usually I treat myself to one really good thing for my birthday. Kohl's has it for like $34, $38, and it's in a cylinder tube about that long. There's not a lot of it, but I'm guessing a little bit goes a long way. But anybody who is familiar with civet musk from the 60s and 70s, check out Missing Person by Fleur, because I promise you, it will take you back. In my mind, it took me back to a time. Now, my best friend, grade school, high school, she lived in the mansion house downtown. And anybody who's been following me, I got a story for everything that happens in my life. Anyway, my best friend, she had lived grade school, high school, lived at the mansion house downtown. And I don't believe the mansion house is there anymore. I do believe it's some high-rise condos or whatever. She had the best, the latest, the greatest of all anything, hair products, makeup, cologne. I mean, she had money. She came from money. Her mother had a really good job. Her aunts lived in the building. They all lived like penthouse kind of life. And if anybody remembers the Matt Helm movies also, there I go, I'm pointing again. If anybody remembers the Matt Helm movies with Dean Martin, it was like the spoof of James Bond. So the first time I go to my friend's apartment down in the mansion house, we'd taken the bus. You don't take the bus downtown anymore. It is so dangerous. But anyway, we take a bus, we go downtown. I go into her apartment, and I forget what her doorman's name was. He buzzes us in. We go up this elevator. We go down this long hall, and she takes me into her apartment, and it was getting dark. It was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, maybe fall, and which I even think is even funnier, because here we are taking a bus downtown at, when it's dark. So we go into her apartment, and she says, "Oh, do you want to see the view?" And I was like, "Yeah." Mind you, we were poor. We were South City folk. We didn't have any money. So anyway, she goes to pull the accordion strings for the curtains, and a corner view. You got the riverfront here, and you've got the rest of downtown here, and the curtains all part. And I was like, oh my God. I was 11 years old. I had never, ever seen anything so breathtaking and beautiful as that riverfront view in that apartment. And her and I were best friends till I don't know, we'd gotten into our 30s and 40s, and then, life happens, and you go on and you do other things, bigger, better. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't believe you're supposed to be friends with your grade school, high school people forever. I think it's maybe one or two you still stay in contact with. But anyway, the point I'm getting to, she had civet musk perfume. And she would have it in this little bitty vial, and a little bit would go a long way. And when I was doing this party at my work for this group or whatever, this woman had on this cologne, Missing Persons by Fleur. And of course, that was a long roundabout story. But anyway, I had to tell you about that because it was just like taking me back in time to that moment when I was standing in her apartment with that view. But this morning, because of the weather being so yuck, and I'm trying to have inspiration, and I'm trying to find things that are going to get me into this next phase of life. And because I do like a good scent in my home, I can hardly do candles, but I told you a couple weeks ago, Walmart had this cranberry mandarin. It's a cranberry currant sweet orange. Oh my God, it smells wonderful. Okay, so if you light this, and I have a couple of them throughout my house, the scent is so wonderful that you don't even really need to light the candles if you don't want to. But if you mix it with Nag Champa incense, it will transcend you into some other place. I feel like I am on vacation. It automatically, these two scents combined, it will just put you in a whole other frame of reference, a whole other frame of mind. I can think better. I feel like I'm in a better mood. So this I got off of Amazon, wasn't very expensive. I like one of these and I like the candle. Try it. Try it and let me know what you think, because your clarity will be so much better and it will make you feel very relaxed. You know, that is one thing when you are traveling, there are certain smells, scents, odors. Like I always think about going to NOLA and the stench that took over the city, although I loved it. Not the stench, but the city in itself. But Nag Champa, try it. You'll love it. Okay, so the other thing, I'm looking for, I have a bottle cutter. Don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the house. But anyway, a friend of mine had given me this bottle of wine a month ago or so. Don't know how to pronounce it. It was Pinot Grigio because that's what I drink. But anyway, look at this bottle. Is that just not the prettiest? I don't know what that brand is. I know it's backwards. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, I want to find my bottle cutter and I want to make a vase out of this. I just think it's so pretty. Or what else could I do with the bottle? Now my one friend, she takes her dish soap and she gets like a pour and she puts her dish soap in fancy bottles. I guess I could do that too if I didn't want to cut it. Or maybe get some good olive oil and put olive oil in it. This bottle, I just absolutely love it. It reminds me of decanters if you have a liquor station, a liquor bar, liquor cart, what do you call it? But anyway, is that just not the prettiest? I love it. So I got to work on that today. Like I said, I'm not going to clean today. I'm going to do everything in my power not to clean today. I did make it up on the hill this week too. I'll put this down here. I did make it up to the hill this week. Got my favorite cookies. Although this says kids' favorite assortment, it should say kids' favorite assortment. Let me open it so you can see it. It is a butter cookie. It has a little bit of a lemon taste to it. But look at those. Urzies up on the hill. Are those just not... I could make a steady diet of these. And they were on sale for $7.99. And then, of course, I got my favorite Gigelanas. These were just... And I got some zazitza, some really good sausage. I'm going to do some Italian sausage, onions, and fried potatoes one night this week. But look at those. One bite. Bite? Dunkers. That's what my grandma used to call them. And I got the dogs out of their crate and they're all behind me. No, Lola, you can't have my cookie. But anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about all that stuff because it's important that people know, they get to know you a little bit better by the things that you promote. Not that I'm trying to influence anyone, but sometimes somebody suggests something and you know you're looking for something different, and unless somebody is suggesting a product or, a service, you'll never know about it. So the cookies came from Urzi's up on the hill. The Nag Champa I got from Amazon. This whole big box, it might have been $8. Well worth it. My candle at Walmart, $5. So very affordable, very doable. Sitting here drinking some coffee. Since I do plan not to clean today, I am probably going to write a little bit more on my next book. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the class description that I have turned into the community college. Now, these are things that I teach. So here's the thing. I don't know if it's a drawback or if it's a subsequence. If I am teaching for the community college, I don't have to provide any of the supplies. I will be paid hourly versus any of my classes, I get paid per person. So that's where the crux of when you were working for somebody else, hence why I really, really like working for myself, because I know what I can earn when I'm doing it myself. But in order to get back into the instructing mode, I need to be able to have a whole new market in front of me. So y'all know I have a book that I published. It's coming up on a year. When he had her, it's available on Amazon. I am going to teach how to write a book. Now, I can do it in a private class, which will cost you $95, or you can sign up for the actual college class once it gets into the curriculum. So, this was the description. Now, mind you, when you are writing a book, you need to know your who, your what, your where, your how, your why. That is how you formulate your storyline. Your who, needless to say, is your characters. Your what is the subject of the book. Who, what, where it all takes place, who, what, where, how the storyline, how the plot all comes together, and the when, time-wise. Is it now? Is it a certain season? Is it, a history piece? Is it from time ago? Is it current? Is it future? So that is what I'm going to be teaching. So the description that I gave to the college so they know what the goal, what the end result will be in the class. Have you always wanted to write a book but didn't know where to begin? This 6-week course guides students through organizing ideas, developing story structure, and building a workable manuscript using the who, what, when, where, why, how framework. Students will learn writing techniques, basic editing skills, and an overview of publishing a process. By the end of the course, each participant will have a clear roadmap and foundational tools to begin or to complete their book. Now, mind you, my book, when he had her, I had it in my mind like over a 10-year period, but by the time I sat down to write it, it took me less than a year, because I had already formulated who my characters were. I had already formulated the storyline. I already formulated where it was taking place. And so on and so forth. I say that all the time, so on and so forth. But anyway, that was the description that I had turned into the college. And these are continuing education classes, because you don't need any big degree. And I always say, I hold no degree. I've taken a lot of courses, a lot of classes, no MD, none of that. Just, I have taken classes, I have taught before, having a business of my own up until 2021 when the economy started to change. So I do have experience with teaching. Okay, the other thing was, because I'm going to try to teach 3 classes. Each of these are in a duration of weeks, 3 hours a class, once a week. So the writing class is 6 weeks, once a week, a 3-hour class. The second course that I want to teach is a vision board with purpose, designing a life by intention. This is a 4-week course, explores vision boards through the lens of personal development and life coaching principles. Students will examine perception, values, environment, and goal setting while creating a meaningful visual representation of their future direction. You have to understand, we are all products of environment, and we have been influenced and shaped by what we have seen and what we have experienced up till this point. And like I always say, you're never too old, it's never too late. And if you do not recognize the product of environment that you are, and if you do not recognize your own personal patterns and how you are applying yourself to life, you'll never go forward. You'll always be in the same miserable routine. So this course encourages self-reflection and intentional planning to support personal growth. Each participant will complete a vision board along with actionable steps towards their goal. The thing about this, with a vision board, I can get you started on it, and it's an open discussion mostly, because no two lives typically are the same. There will be similarities, there will be things that most people will have in common, but we will all have been influenced differently in our family dynamic, and that shapes who you are. That class, needless to say, 4 weeks, 3 hour a class, and then of course all of my contact information will be available for anybody to, you can ask me anything. Anybody can ask me anything. I'm an open book. And then of course the third course will be the art of acrylic painting, perspective, perception, and color. Also a 4-week course introducing students to acrylic painting through composition, perspective, brush technique, and color theory. I gotta get comfortable, hang on. My legs have been cramping up. Students will complete 2 finished paintings while learning how perception and observation influence artistic expression. The course is designed for beginners and focuses on building creative confidence in a supportive environment. And you don't need any experience. So, in general, that is what I teach. That has been my business. By taking this opportunity to teach at a scholastic entity, I'm hoping it will branch out into something different. I'm trying to leave the restaurant industry. This morning, I sent my schedule into the banquet facility where I lend my hand, because I know I will need that extra income. And although I will be paid hourly through this, it's not going to be enough. But it's the opportunity and what you can do in your own life, putting one foot in front of the other, just trying something different. Because if you do not try to do something different, you're always going to be doing the same thing. It goes back to, we are all creatures of habit, and we fall into this miserable comfort zone, and we keep repeating the same things, and we can't figure out mostly why we're so unhappy. Well, when you never change out of that routine, that organized structure that is keeping you locked into something that you've outgrown, it doesn't align with you anymore. And sometimes you have to take money out of the equation. What's more important? Being happy, being healthy, or earning all of this money chasing something that you will never get to a place. The fates step in, and things change, your life is taken away from you. Would you not want to do something, even if for a short time, something different, and then figure out all the money and financial things that come after it, because love what you do and the money follows? So as I'm waiting now to hear back, I applied for this position the end of February, and I didn't know for sure if I was going to hear back from them. And I had always thought about teaching at the community college, always. They have these classes, you have to have a minimum of 5 in the class, where I have a minimum of 11 or 12 for my personal classes and things like that. So this is going to be a whole new ball game, working for a scholastic entity that has an actual curriculum. So stay tuned, and we will see how this all pans out. But like I said, I sent an email to the banquet facility this morning too. I'm like, okay, I tentatively have this possibly going on. how else can I lean into another department in the catering industry at the banquet hall in which I am lending my hand. Put my schedule in for July. I'm taking the week off after my birthday. I just need a clean break, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But anyway, I wanted to kind of get you up to speed. Sorry I'm stumbling over words this morning. Like I said, it is raining cats and dogs here. It is extremely gloomy. My house is clean. I think, though, later I'm going to cook, and this might sound weird, but it tastes so, so good. You take hamburger, you take brown sugar, you can take hot sauce if you want, sauerkraut, and barbecue sauce, and you mix it all together, and you make really, really big meatballs, and you bake it. The sauerkraut with the brown sugar, with the barbecue sauce, you will never have tasted anything so good. And then I think I might try to make some kind of sweet braided bread this afternoon. The house is relatively cool, humidity is low. I think I'm willing to chance it and turn my oven on today. But what about you? What do you have planned? I just told you what I have coming up for the next couple of weeks, fingers crossed. But what do you have going on? And are you willing to take that chance and take that risk on a whole new life? Are you willing to do something outside of your norm in order to bring more joy into your life? Because, life is short. We don't know what's on the other side of today. Tomorrow is always going to be some big chance. But if you are not willing to take that opportunity, how will you ever know? What is it that you're chasing right now? Is it your health? Is it the way you make money? Is it the way you are creating, a curated home? That's what I always say, a curated home. A place that brings you peace, that brings you joy. And if you have all these things within your home, you'll never need to venture out. You build the life so you don't need a vacation. Your vacation is with you every day. It's a lifestyle. Those are things I have talked about and I have taught since I can't remember, 2010, 11, 12, when the world was turning upside down and nobody knew what was happening. If you do not create the life that you want, it is never going to happen. It is never going to occur. What is my end result? What is the end goal that I'm trying to do? Well, we all know I want to move out of the shoebox. It has served its purpose, going on 21 years in this home. Come this Christmas, I want to be able to walk out my back door and go throw a line in my pond. I want to be able to sit at my own little dock, and just look at the water, and maybe I'll have ducks, who knows? I want to be able to have a barn. Will I have another horse? I don't know, because the last one I had caused me, not her in itself, but all the things that it took to have her, kind of created a post-traumatic stress disorder. But I do know I want chickens. I do know I want goats. I do know I want a llama, and jokingly I say if a camel comes along with that llama, why not? I want a big porch. I want to put in a garden. Just like my garden and I did in the backyard, I want a bigger garden. I want to be able to sit on my front porch and I want to be able to watch it rain. And I want to be like an old person and go, oh, we really needed this. I want that peace of mind and I want that joy knowing this is what I cultivated. I want to be able to teach my classes on my property. I want to be able to have a small farm stand. Whether it be selling things that I make, things that I grow, or just marketing who I am, branding my identity through all the things that I teach. If you do not tell people who you are and what that end result is actually going to look like, and then put all of those steps and processes in place, people look at you and they watch how you were doing it. And in their mind, they're like, one, they're going to say, you're absolutely crazy for not, doing the mainstream like everybody else. But why do you want to be like everybody else? You're an individual. Work on your craft, work on your talent, work on your voice, work on implementing the life that you want to live, because it is a lifestyle. And people will look to see how you are doing it, and they'll want to learn more, and they will want to follow you, and they will want to tell other people, look, this is what this person did. They started out here, they went through all of this, and then they did this, and then they did this, and then they did that. And then somewhere along the line, it's the butterfly effect. If this wouldn't have happened, this couldn't have happened. If this didn't happen, you wouldn't have taken that step. And by the time you get to your end result and you were looking back, it all starts to make sense. And you understand why you had to go through all the things that you went through. But anyway, I'm Kitryn Marie. I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach. Do a lot of talking, a lot of speaking about life and what should be and how others should apply it to their life. I am a published author, teach art and communication classes. I would love to hear from you. After this is all over, please share, leave a comment. If you're interested in anything that I talked about, all you got to do is just ask me and I will go over everything again. Again, the Nag Champa, it's a wonderful scent. Incense, Amazon. Candle, Walmart, $5. It'll transcend you to a whole other place. You want to get up to your little Italian market, wherever you're located, go get yourself some of your favorite cookies. Treat yourself well. Indulge in something that's just going to make your soul happy. Want to learn more about my book? Again, When He Had Her. It's available on Amazon. It's $15.99. I did sell another book. If you want to relive maybe your childhood from the 60s and 70s, and if you are familiar with Civet Musk, go get yourself Missing Person by Fleur. It's a wonderful cologne. It will take you back to a time in your life you completely forgot about. But again, I'm Kitryn Marie. I do reside in St. Louis, Missouri, Kit by most accounts. But for today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of the coin you want to be on. Stay tuned for my next little live. I don't know when it will be. I'm going to sit here at the computer for a while, and I think I'm going to work on Seaside Shore, my next book. But y'all take care, and I will see you real soon. Enjoy your day.